This is what the world looks like at night. And this is how the world's population is distributed geographically. Did you notice how the most populous areas are the darkest as well? That is because one of the most ubiquitous resources in the developed world, electricity, is absent from the lives of people in the developing world. I come from one such region, Pakistan, where 40% of the population has no access to the grid. And even those who do suffer massive load shedding or rolling blackouts as they're known in the US. In my hometown of Lahore, which is the second largest city in Pakistan, rolling blackouts of up to 12 hours every day are commonplace. Try to imagine sleeping at night without even a fan, let alone air conditioning, when the ambient temperature is around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Try going to the fridge to get some ice for your Coke, only to find lukewarm water in the tray. And these, interestingly, are problems of the upper and middle class in Pakistan. Now try to imagine the life of a farmer who earns his livelihood from his crops and has to spend prohibitive amounts on diesel and diesel generators to fire his irrigation pumps because the grid has failed to deliver. Students, health workers, farmers, all of them face the same problem. And it is these people that Shamsi wants to reach out to and provide a reliable and cheap alternative source of energy by creating a distributed generation network using high concentrated photovoltaic technology. An estimated 1.3 billion people, or about 20% of the world's population, have no access to the grid infrastructure. Another 1 billion have access to the grid, but suffer massive brownouts and blackouts due to supply shortfall and other issues. The World Bank estimates that in order to provide universal grid connectivity by 2030, an annual investment of 35 to 40 billion is required. This is in addition to the 450 billion required per annum just to maintain energy services at the current level. So how about, instead of spending on creating grid infrastructure, why not spend the amount per year only to generate electricity for these people without the need of a grid, by utilizing a local and freely available fuel, sunlight? This is a global insolation map, and as you can see, the very areas that are without electricity are the ones receiving very high amount of solar energy per meter square. Team Shamsi wants to use high concentrated photovoltaic or HCPV based power plants which will cater to localized need of populations that have no or unreliable access to the grid. These small power plants will create a distributed generation network which can operate with or without grid access. The HCPV modules that Shamsi plans to use are the most efficient solar modules in the world. In fact, they hold the world record for efficiency at about 35%, and it is rising. However, these modules work best in high direct normal irradiance areas. Interestingly, the areas that have the least supply of electricity in the world overlap with these high direct normal irradiance or DNI areas. This makes an HCPV-based distributed generation system the ideal candidate for producing power in these regions. However, one might ask the question that why not use conventional solar or biomass or wind to produce power, considering that HCPV has a higher upfront cost to install the technology? And the answer to that lies in the much lower levelized cost of energy, or LCOE, of HCPV systems. In fact, the modules that Shamsi is using are the lowest cost modules in terms of dollars per watt of power produced. HCPV has several advantages compared to other systems. HCPV does not face the fuel supply issues that biomass systems encounter. Neither does it have the availability and reliability issues faced by wind energy systems. And the final comparison between HCPV and conventional solar also weighs heavily in HCPV's favor. The specific HCPV modules being used by Shamsi require less than half the area of a similarly sized conventional solar system, have much lower LCOE, are almost twice as efficient, produce 30 to 40% more energy per watt of peak rated power, and deliver peak power for a longer period of time. Considering the fact that the power produced through these HCPV modules is market competitive even in the absence of subsidies, the fact that the fuel required is readily available in the target markets, and above all, the fact that every watt of power produced will have zero carbon emissions make a compelling case for Shamsi's business plan. My name is Anwar, and I'm a graduate student and Fulbright scholar in the Duke MEMP program. And along with Ahmed, Dr. Zohaib, and Mazdak, we are Team Shamsi, and we are trying to illuminate the world through innovation.